Let's talk about a Facebook ad strategy I never skip, not in 2026, not ever, because it consistently gets better results, costs less, and makes ad spend way more efficient. If you're still obsessing over super narrow targeting, like stacking interest, hobbies, job titles, and getting overly specific, it's time to rethink your strategy, because that approach is actually hurting you. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the ad setup I use for all of my lead generating clients that leverages Facebook's own AI and delivers better results than hyper-targeting ever could. I will even show you how to tweak it if you're running an e-com business instead. The big shift in targeting. Here's the truth. Hyper-targeting is outdated. Facebook's own artificial intelligence is incredibly good at finding the right people for you if you let it. So what do I do instead? I go broad. I'll start with a basic framework like age, gender, location, if that's relevant to your business and if you need it. And then maybe I layer 1 to 2 core interests in my ad targeting. But I do not stack dozens of interests or try to narrow down so much that you end up with a very restricted targeting. I don't over-engineer my audience. Instead, I let Facebook's artificial intelligence expand the targeting and optimize delivery. I always keep detailed targeting expansion turned on because that's where the magic is going to happen. And of course, I also utilize custom audiences to retarget visitors of certain web pages or for the e-com businesses if you abandon a cart. And I also utilize lookalike audiences to let Facebook find users with the similar behaviors or patterns. Strategic exclusions. Here's the part that makes the approach work even better. And that is strategic exclusions. Just because you go broad doesn't mean you go blind. I always exclude people who've already converted, whether they filled out a form, they booked a call, or they purchased a product. And that should be a no-brainer. This keeps the audience fresh and avoid wasting budget on people who are already in. You're basically giving Facebook the green light to find new, qualified people while telling it exactly who not to target. And here's a bonus tip. If you're targeting a specific state, I highly recommend you actively exclude all other states in your ad targeting. And now you might think, well, I don't target the other states, so that would automatically prevent my ads from showing up, right? No, that is not always the case. Facebook has changed how location targeting works. In the past, you could target people whether they lived in the state or whether they have visited the state. That option is no longer available. So users who now visited a state, even if they don't live there, will still see your ads. By explicitly excluding other states, you make sure your ads only reach your desired audience and you avoid wasting budget and generating unqualified leads. Testing and metrics to watch. Once your campaign is live, resist the urge to make changes right away. I let every new campaign run for at least 3 days and I do not touch it. This will give the Facebook algorithm time to gather data and to optimize the delivery, which is also called the crucial learning phase. Any tweaks that you make during that time will reset the learning phase, and that will result in really muddy results and a much longer way to really understand what's working and really to see an optimized result. Here's an expert rule of thumb, something I use in all of my campaigns. Plan to invest at least $450 per creative or wait at least 10 conversions before you assess your true cost per lead and overall performance. To get reliable results, make sure each ad group receives enough budget during the learning phase. If you notice that some of your ad groups are not getting enough spend under the campaign budget optimization, also called CBO, consider switching it to an ad set budget instead, called ABO, so each creative will get a fair shot. This approach ensures you're testing under optimal conditions and getting a true read on which creative is actually driving results. Consistently monitoring your budget allocation helps eliminate false negatives and lets you make smarter data-driven decisions about which ad to scale. This baseline helps you to separate signals from noise and ensures you're making decisions based on data, not early fluctuations. After the learning phase, I focus on metrics that tie directly into my objective. So for lead generations, these are the non-negotiable metrics you need to look out for. Lead volume, cost per lead, click-through rate, conversion rate, if available in platform, lead quality, if you can track that post-lead action. These KPIs will give me an idea whether my creatives are effective, whether my audience targeting is resonating, and whether my funnel is actually converting and not just generating empty clicks. And here's another advanced tip. Always test multiple creatives, so ideally 3 to 5 within each ad set. This lets Facebook's machine learning identify your top performers rather than relying on guesswork or intuition. I carefully monitor how spend is distributed. If one creative quickly dominates, I analyze why and use those insights to inform my next round of creatives. Here's what you should be focusing on. Reach, so how many unique people saw your ad. Engagement, and engagement metrics are likes, comments, share, video views. Cost per 1,000 impressions or short CPMs. Frequency, how often is your ad seen by the same user? You want to keep the frequency below 2.0. The closer it is to the 1, the better. If it's over 2, you need to change out the creatives because you run into creative ad fatigue. Here's another bonus tip. Track ad relevancy diagnostics. So quality ranking, engagement rate ranking, conversion rate ranking. These scores can flag issues with your ad's messaging, targeting, or creative before you visibly tank your results. And the real expert move here is to set clear benchmarks for each metric before you launch your campaign. That way you know exactly when to pause, scale, or pivot. No guesswork, just data-driven decisions. When to tweak. Speed is everything in Facebook ad optimization. If an ad is underperforming, so whether the cost per lead is too high or your click-through rate is too low, I cut it without hesitation. There's no value in letting underperformers drain your budget or screw your results. I ruthlessly trim the weakest creatives and double down on what's working. That means duplicating the winning ad and testing variations. Try a new hook, swap in a different visual, or reframe the messaging. The goal here is iteration, not reinvention. For truly accurate testing, keep everything else in the ad group constant. Use the same caption, call out, and offer. The only variable should be the creative asset itself. This isolates the impact of visuals and messaging, letting you pinpoint exactly what's driving results. Here's another expert tip for you. Refresh your creatives weekly. Facebook audience fatigue is real. Performance can drop quickly if you run the same ad for much too long. By constantly introducing new creative variations, you keep your audience engaged and the algorithm happy, all while learning what resonates best. When to scale. Knowing when and how to scale is what separates casual advertisement from true performance marketers. If leads are coming in steadily, your cost per lead is consistent, and the quality of those leads meet your standards, that's the green light. I start scaling by increasing the budget gradually. You want to do it gradually, so typically by 10 to 15% every few days. This controlled approach prevents shocking the algorithm, which can otherwise destabilize your results and your cost can go up. Here's another pro tip. Always monitor your key performance indicators, KPIs, as you scale. If you see a sudden dip in lead quality, a jump in your cost per lead, or a drop in conversion rate, you want to pause, reassess before allocating more budget. And then for the e-com businesses out there, your main metric shifts to return on ad spend or short ROAS. But the fundamentals remain the same. Broad targeting, creative testing, and incremental budget increases. But you scale only when you see consistent, profitable purchases, not just clicks or add to carts. Track both average order value and purchase frequency to ensure you're scaling campaigns that are truly profitable. Remember, sustainable scaling is data-driven and deliberate. Give the algorithm time to adjust and always prioritize quality over quantity as you increase your spend. Bonus. Why this works in 2026? The real reason this strategy works in 2026 because it comes down to one thing. Facebook's AI is now the most powerful targeting engine on the planet. With continuous investment in Advantage Plus automation, smarter lookalike audiences, and real-time optimization, the platform can identify, reach, and convert your ideal customer with a level of precision no human can match. Here's what's changed. Facebook's algorithm isn't just looking at surface level interest or demographics you pick. It's analyzing user behaviors, content consumption patterns, purchase intent signals, and hundreds of data points in real time. Every click, scroll, and interaction is fed back into the system, updating your audience targeting on the fly. So if you're still manually slicing your audience in tiny, hyper-specific segments, you're actually limiting the system's ability to learn and optimize. Over-niching worked way back in the past. Now it's a bottleneck. Today, your job as a marketer is to set smart boundaries, feed the algorithm strong creatives, and let it hunt for your next customer at scale. Modern Playbook is simple. Clear boundaries, so location, age, and other exclusions we talked about. Unleash the algorithm, don't micromanage it. Measure the results that matter to you. So leads, sales, ROAS. Iterate with intention. Adjust only what the data proves needs improvement. Let Facebook's AI do the heavy lifting. The less you interfere, the more powerful your results. So here's a strategy in one line. Broad targeting, smart exclusion, multiple creatives, fast feedback loops. This isn't just effective, it's scalable. So if you found this helpful, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I want to know in the comments, have you tried this approach before, or are you still doing the hyper-specific targeting? And if you want a full walkthrough on how I set up my campaigns and ad manager step by step, let me know. You can reach out to me at Nina@thesocialwisdom. We can get started. And if you also want, drop it in the comments below if you need help, so I can make more content that resonates with you. And this also led us yet again to another video. I'm so glad you tuned in. I cannot wait to see you next week. Until then, goodbye, or how we say in Germany, auf Wiedersehen.